Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading. This is a bonus reading. We are going to look at what you don't see coming. You have this Let It Go card and this Divine Matrix card. One thing I will say is I'm almost done with these readings, and there has been a lot of letting go type of energy here. Now, one thing that I always think about is how the astrology could be kind of, taking over a reading, if that makes sense. And we have the North Node conjunct Neptune right now. And so, that North Node conjunct Neptune energy, and I haven't said this to anyone else because, sometimes I don't realize these things until I go through the reading, right? Because, it takes me a while to see the repeat messages that keep coming up. But that energy is kind of where, the North Node conjuncting Neptune is kind of where can you make a difference or where can you affect change in your life, right? And so you're going to have to look at what house that is for you in your chart. Wherever Neptune is, it's in Pisces, but you're going to have to look at what house Pisces is for you to think about that. And it's kind of also, an energy of where do I feel weak, right? Or where do I not feel strong enough and what do I need to strengthen in my life? And so I feel that for you, you have that Let It Go card and letting go is part of it, right? So, letting go of needing to, number one, letting go of needing to feel strong is part of it, but also being strong is the other part of it, right? It's kind of it's not really a contradictory energy, but it is. It's we have to look at both things, and add it together, to work with the energy. And it's definitely, popping into my head here. How you are entering into this reading is the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands can, of course, represent marriage, but really the Four of Wands is a card of freedom or being set free. It's also a card of completion as well. I call it a finish line card. There's this finish line here. These people are celebrating on the other side of the Four of Wands, and we need to go and celebrate with those people. So there's clearly something that you have to either let go of with the Let It Go card, or there's something that you need to bring to a completion or you need to end or you need to wrap up. Could be anything. It could be a project, could be personal development, could be healing that you're going through, but I definitely feel there's something about that there. Your crossing energy is the Nine of Swords, so this is probably what needs to come to an end. The crossing energy can be what hurts you or helps you in a Celtic cross. Now, I kind of feel it's both because obviously if you bring this situation to an end, the Nine of Swords, then it's going to help you. The Nine of Swords is a never-ending nightmare. It is like having a nightmare, waking up and being stuck in a nightmare. It's kind of like my Groundhog Day card. So sometimes I feel that the Nine of Swords doesn't really have to be bad necessarily, but it's just too much the same. Every day is the same, right, which gets boring. We start, living like a robot when everything is the same, when we're always doing the same thing day in, day out. There's no variety. It can cause all sorts of problems, even if your life really isn't that bad. It can still cause some issues. So the Nine of Swords wants us to get out of Nine of Swords mode. We just have to get out of the bed and go affect change in our life, and that's how we solve the Nine of Swords. Next, in the area of your thoughts, you have the Four of Cups. Having the Four of Cups in the area of your thoughts is like thinking, am I ever going to get X? So whatever you want in life, whatever you're thinking about, you are probably thinking to yourself, am I ever going to find that thing? Whatever this cup is, could be true love, could be a successful business, it could be freedom, it could be the freedom to not live in Groundhog's Day, it could be, any of those things. Now, the Four of Cups is also kind of a solution. He has these three cups in front of him, and what he needs to realize is that he has learned from those three cups. He needs to get the gold from the pain that he's been through. A long time ago, I don't remember who it was, but I heard someone famous, I just can't remember who it was. It was like a motivational speaker, I'm convinced, I think. But I heard someone say once, get the gold from your pain. And it woke something up inside of me. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So through all painful situations that we go through, the gold would be the lesson, and not repeating a lesson is a reward, right, in life. But there might be good things as well. It's not only could we learn a lesson, but we might realize from a painful situation what we actually do want, and that is also a reward. And the trick with the Four of Cups is that he needs to mix all these things together, all the lessons, all the gold, and he needs to apply it to a new situation that is being presented to him here. So you need to look at the lessons you've learned and apply them to something new. In the area of your foundation, you have the Three of Wands. A really good card to have in your foundation. It is an expansive card. It is a card of foresight and progress. Like, I feel very good about it in your reading. Like, sometimes I feel with the Three of Wands, I'll say like, what is he waiting for? Because this is my card that says, what are you waiting for? But for you, intuitively, I'm just not getting that energy. I feel you're forward focused. I feel like you are seeing opportunities that are in front of you. The boats in front of him represent opportunity, and I feel that you are seeing those opportunities that exist. I feel you are taking advantage of, things that would help you grow and expand, so I would just keep doing whatever that is. Next, in the area of your past, this is the energy of what you're moving past. You have this Taurus card. It says perseverance. It says, remember, slow and steady wins the race. Awaken your inner bull to give you patience. You also have the Soul Family card. It says, prepare to meet those who share a similar frequency level as you. A lot of people have been getting these cards of people in their life, and so it does seem to me like we're in a time where a big change that we all could be experiencing that maybe we don't realize is that we're surrounding ourselves with, more people who align with us. And that would obviously be a good thing. I feel pretty good about this perseverance card. Perseverance is not giving up, having to keep going, but I kind of feel like you are getting to the end of perseverance. That doesn't mean that you're not going to continue to persevere, but I feel like it's almost like the need to keep pushing is coming to an end, which is a good thing. You have the King of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is a card of resourcefulness and using your resources. I feel really good about this as well for you, Gemini. It's like I feel you are no longer having to scrape. It's like you're no longer having to, beg for resources or scrape for resources. It's like you're not having to pinch pennies and things like that. So I do feel that there could be financial changes, but this doesn't always only have to be financial changes. Like, if you've been tired for a long time, then this could be energy that is returning to your life, and you're feeling more motivated and like you can get things done. So again, I feel pretty good about that energy. Next, here you go. You have, in the area of your very near future, you have this Freedom card. We just talked about it. You have the Stillness card as well, and the Stillness card has a swan on it. And you have the King of Cups. The King of Cups is very much like the swan energy. The King of Cups has explored his emotions to a very deep level. The swans, swans feed underwater, so they are always going from, kind of the real world down into the emotional world. That is where they get their nutrition, is from underwater, from their emotions. The King of Cups is about exploring your emotions to a very deep level. You literally could be nourishing yourself through your emotions and through taking care of yourself emotionally, and that's exactly what I would do. That will provide you with more freedom, is the exploration of how you feel about whatever. Doesn't even matter, just, everything in your life. The King of Cups is sitting in choppy waters, but he is perfectly fine. He's not worried about what's going on around him because he knows how he feels about everything. And he is also sitting, it kind of looks like a concrete slab that he's sitting on, so he has a very stable emotional foundation. And again, this is very good. I feel like there's been a lot of emotional development for you, Gemini, and that could be leading to more strength, growth, expansion, all sorts of stuff. Next, in your outcome row, you have this Travel card. It says, embarking on a journey could be your path to wealth, as abundant opportunities await you in the world. So there you go. You have this Retreat card. It says, sometimes taking a break is the best thing you can do to gain clarity and a fresh perspective. With the Freedom card, the Stillness card, the King of Cups, I definitely feel, any moment you can carve out for yourself during the day would be very beneficial for you. Finding a place of retreat, or like maybe going into nature, all that stuff could help you gain these perspectives, which would be very helpful. Over the coming period, you have the Six of Swords. Love it. Literally just a card of improvements and heading to calmer shores. So you are clearly creating improvements. This guy here is standing out to me. He represents a guide, and the Six of Swords can represent allowing your guides to guide you, or needing to make a connection to your guides, which you could be doing through meditation, slowing things down, quieting your inner voice, going for walks. All those things are a great way to connect. But also paying attention to signs, symbols, synchronicities. This woman and the child, they are bringing nothing with them but the clothing on their back, and they have these 6 swords in front of the boat, so just like the Four of Cups, those 6 swords represent the lessons, the spiritual lessons, the things that they've learned. That's what they're bringing with them across the choppy waters to the calmer shores. So they aren't really starting from scratch, they're starting from a place of knowledge and wisdom, even though technically they are starting over, like, in a way. So I feel it would be a great time for you to realize that your knowledge holds a lot of power in your life. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Ten of Swords. I do feel like Gemini could be seeing people. It's like I feel like you are realizing who has had your best interest. Like, let me put it this way, I feel like the people who are with you right now, who have been with you through like the hard times are really the people that have your back. I feel like you are kind of like looking at all your connections and you're saying like, all these other people that aren't still in my life, they really never truly had my back. I get a weird message here of placing importance on the people in your life, but this is not a bad thing. This is a good thing because I feel like it's saying, those are the connections that you should be nurturing, the people who, no matter what, have like stuck by your side. And, the Ten of Swords, he's been stabbed in the back, but the Ten of Swords is also a blessing in disguise. He's making the symbol right here with his hand that represents a blessing. So the Ten of Swords can represent deciding that you are, really going to nurture your close relationships in the area of your closest relationships. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Very Gemini energy. Right now, I feel right now you could really be looking at the things that you've been growing, and you could be deciding to grow something new. He is, I always say this is my card that says, is the juice worth the squeeze? He is wondering like, was it worth it for me to grow these 7 pentacles? Or is there something different or better that I could grow in my life? And, it's a card of analysis. He's looking at everything that he's done so far and he's saying, okay, like I've learned from these situations, now I need to go grow something else. And the whole entire reading is basically saying that Four of Cups, Six of Swords, like you're taking what you have learned from something that has grown in your life and you're applying it to something new. So that makes perfect sense to me. You have the Death card, so big change. We are in a time of great change. Every single person that I've read for in this set of readings has had a lot of big change energy. So, like I said, we're just in a time of big changes and I feel you're just going through changes here, Gemini. That's pretty much it. Let's see what else wants to come up for you here. And we are going to clarify with the Four of Cups and the Nine of Swords. You have the Nine of Swords. Definitely something that needs to come to an end. I always say like Nine of Swords, here's the problem. I look at the Nine of Swords as the worst card in the tarot because he's in pain, but he's not in enough pain to make a change. So the Nine of Swords says, can you realize when something isn't working in your life? And can you leave the situation without needing to let it get so painful that it doesn't work, right? So I feel like you need to be honest with yourself at this time as to like what's working, what's not working. Double down on the things that are working and take control. The Nine of Swords really wants us to take control of our situation, so that's what I would do there. With the Four of Cups, you have the Chariot. Chariot is like a victory or a big win, also a card of taking control. Chariot is a card of hard control. He really needs to take control of the reins to control the direction of his life. He's also in perfect alignment with what he wants. On top of all that, he is leaving something behind. He is leaving the city behind. And the Nine of Swords definitely says that there is like a comfort zone or like an uncomfortable comfort zone that you need to leave. Again, I think that sometimes like in relationships, for example, we know that it isn't working, but we stay anyway. That would be an uncomfortable comfort zone. We're uncomfortable, but we also don't want to be alone. Right? So that's how we create these things for ourselves. Same thing with work or business. It's like, I'm sure like I've done it where I've stayed in jobs that I didn't like and I could have easily gone and just found something else and it wouldn't have been a big issue, right? So the Chariot says you need to take control of those things. With the Three of Wands, you have the Hierophant. Yeah, Hierophant is learning. We see a ton of learning here. The thing about the Nine of Swords as well is that he has this blanket here. The blanket is a comfort blanket. I'm going to show you on the big version here. In the blue squares on this blanket, there are all these astrological symbols. So the Nine of Swords, the astrological symbols kind of let him know that he has lived through a lot of astrology. It's basically providing him comfort, or it should be, because it's telling him that he has learned a lot. This whole entire reading, everything we see here, Seven of Pentacles, Four of Cups, right, Six of Swords, it's like telling him that he has all this knowledge. So he shouldn't be afraid to leave the situation, 'cause he's not leaving with nothing. He's leaving with a bunch of knowledge and wisdom. And the Hierophant is the teacher, the universal teacher. The Hierophant communicates with heaven and earth. He is able to take the messages from heaven and bring them down to earth. So you have learned a lot, and this should be giving you confidence, not fear, that you can accomplish great things. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Queen of Swords. Queen, this is about seeing things clearly for the first time. We could also say that the Queen of Swords is your energy. So whenever you show up as yourself in a reading, it kind of puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. So a lot of you could just be gaining or have gained a lot of clarity in the past. With the King of Cups, you have the Two of Wands. Two of Wands is about taking the lead and leaving a comfort zone. So I feel it would be a good time for you to take the lead in your life, especially if you are in a Nine of Swords situation. And maybe it's time to be the bad guy. Sometimes I think we stay in relationships because we don't want to be the bad guy and leave, right? And so maybe it's time for you to take control, obviously with the Chariot, and, kind of make something happen. With the Six of Swords, you have the Knight of Pentacles. I literally said progress, I think, on the Six of Swords, or maybe it was the Three of Wands, I can't remember, but the Knight of Pentacles can be a card of progress and making progress in your life. So I feel like you are making progress. He is also a card of knowledge and wisdom. He has these oak leaves on his helmet here, and right here on the horse. The oak leaves in the tarot represent knowledge and wisdom. It's like you know more than you need to know to be successful in whatever change you are creating here, or whatever you're taking control of. So I feel, again, this reading is trying to give you confidence to, turn your situation around with that Nine of Swords. It's almost like, one thing I want to spit out here as well is that it's almost like the Nine of Swords is saying your life could be so much better, but you have to get out of the comfort zone. Like I was saying, I kind of get this feeling that the comfort zone there might be some pain, but it's like not enough to create the change. It's kind of like, I feel like sometimes people can, create a business and they start making money, and then they kind of like come down to a level that they are comfortable with. Like, let's pretend that it's like $50,000 a year. It's like they come down to that level and then they get to that level and they're like just scraping by. They're just getting ahead, but they're not making any real progress. And then maybe something happens where they can't make their car payment and then they go back up, right? I've seen this a lot with people where it's like they make a lot of money, they kind of come down to a comfort zone, something happens that causes even more pain, and then they have to go back up. I believe with the Nine of Swords, the trick in life is to not get into that comfort zone, the dip, right? To avoid the dip, we want to kind of keep going, at least kind of up and to the right, right? And I feel this reading is about like taking control and figuring out what it is inside of you that is preventing you from just going up, right? And that's what I would look at. You have the King of Pentacles in the area of your closest relationships. King of Pentacles is kind of like working on stability. So, like I said with that Ten of Swords, it's almost like you are focusing more on those connections that create stability. I don't even feel bad about that Ten of Swords. Like, sure, you could be thinking about the past people that stabbed you in the back and all that other stuff, but I feel you're more focused on stability. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Four of Cups. I connected those two earlier right here, so definitely a change that's coming in for you. And I feel you need to add up all the knowledge and wisdom, all the things that you've learned to make that something that's great. With the Death card, you have the Ace of Cups. Yeah, flow. Ace of Cups could be love, but I feel this reading is more about your emotions, the Swan, the King of Cups. It's like about getting right with yourself emotionally. The Ace of Cups is doing things that cause you to overflow, doing things that you can do endlessly, right? And finding out what those things are. In work and business and love, it's like things shouldn't really be stealing energy from us for the most part. So the Ace of Cups is about doing those things where you can easily reach down and fill yourself up and finding fulfillment. So a lot of you here in this reading, it seems to me like you are kind of like finding fulfillment with that Death card, or you're focusing more on the areas of your life that do create fulfillment, and that's what I would do. You have this Bread card. It says period to prosperity and abundance. I feel you're creating abundance, or you have the opportunity to. With that Nine of Swords, again, I would encourage you to, don't be afraid of making changes. It's like, again, the whole comfort zone thing. Sometimes I think people get to that comfort zone level, like financially, and they're afraid to make a change because they're in a comfort zone and they don't want to ruin it, right? So I would start trying new things. You have this Horse card. It says short journey on it. Didn't we have like a travel card? Yeah, this travel card says embarking on a journey could be your path to wealth, as abundant opportunities await you in the world. I think this is true for everyone. Everyone gets a Two of Wands nowadays, and the Two of Wands, he has a whole world in his hands. I always say like Two of Wands is one of my cards that says variety is the spice of life. Like you have to go have experiences so that you can grow, and that's what I would do here. You have the star. Says guaranteed success. I feel there is a lot of success available to you, so I would be working on those, your projects, your ideas, things like that. You have this lobster. Says financial pinch. Again, you have that period to prosperity and abundance card, but like I said with the Nine of Swords, I feel like there is something. It's like comfortable, but not comfortable enough, so I feel that that should be motivating you to greatly improve your situation. You have this pin card. Says new job or career. So there you go. Could be a new job, career, business coming in for you that could improve your situation. But pretty good reading here, Gemini. I do like it even though there is pressure. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, the Nine of Swords I feel is pinching you. It's like a lobster that's pinching your ass, trying to get you to make a change here. But looks pretty good. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your week.